Hey, so let's have a look at how the light will react in a 3D environment. So we will try to play a bit with Maya in this simple scene. So I just wanted to show you how the light are bouncing directly on top of the model or bouncing directly on top of a 3D scene before we go into anything fancy like rendering an actual model, rendering something that will look like this reference here. Let's open it on this window, and this is what we will get for like the just the test result, just to be able to see how our model will look within a gray shader and with some simple, really simple lighting directly in the scene. So before we go into this render, let's have a look at the Maya scene, and let's have a look at how Arnold lights are working. So for this, I just created like a simple cyclo. So a cyclo will be the kind of foreground that we have in studio environment, where we'll get this curved background. So it will be curved because we'll just need to click on the button 3, and then because of the modeling we'll get this kind of dim light that will be bouncing directly on the background, and this is exactly what we want when we play with our studio environment. So this is just for the background, and then for the object, so I just added a sphere because I wanted you to have a look at how the light will react on a sphere before we go on to anything fancy. Then I will just place it just like I told you. So in the previous video we had a look at how to place the light. So quickly at how the light are placed in studio, in an actual photographic studio environment. And one rule that we have is that if we have a look at the model from the top, we'll get about 2 meters from the background and 1 meter from the camera. So if we are just creating a camera to play with, so I will go into create, then I will add a camera and add the first camera. So this will be my camera for this object. Something that we would need to take into consideration is the scale of the object, but for the moment we will not be worried about that. Just wanted to tell you that in general we are trying to play with a scale 1 scene directly in Maya. So this is something that I will show you probably in a later video when I will speak about the displacement, because with the displacement we want to have the correct amount of the correct scale, the correct real world scale directly into Maya, and then we'll be able to export our displacement from ZBrush and plug it in our 3D packages in order to render it and in order to recover all the details from our model. But for the moment, let's keep to something that is quite simple. So this is our scene, then this is my camera. So I will name it render underscore CAM for camera. My light will be the key underscore LT, and I will just select my camera. I will adjust the focal length, so most of the time I'm trying to use something between, let's say 50 to 100 and maybe even more, 150, but for this I will just use let's try with 70 actually. So 70 will be better, I think, because we will get less distortion. It's a sphere that we are trying to render, so anyway we'll not get to see how the distortion will work, but it's just for preparing you to your actual render scene. So I will just select my render cam, go into panel here and click on look through selected. So with the look through selected, I will be able to look through my camera. So I will be placed directly inside of the position of the director of photography with this function. I can click here to select directly my camera, and something that I want to show is the resolution gate. So the resolution gate will pretty much be the resolution for your final image. So it really depends of the parameters that you place into the render setting. So if I click on this button to show the render setting of my scene, I will be able to go into the common tab of my Arnold render engine. I will be able to select the renderable camera. So for this, I will select my render cam. And I will also be able to play with the presets or with the image size. Something that I can do is just simply to select a preset like HD 1080p. Then I will click on maintain width and height ratio. And if I want to rise up this intensity to get some kind of step between 4K and 1080p, I will just have to enter one value and the ratio will be kept. So let's keep to the 1080p for the moment and let's hit close. So if you adjust to something like A4, let's pretend that for the demonstration purposes, for showing your statue, you want to do a poster, for example, something that you can do here is go in the preset and you select A4 resolution. And you will see that thanks to this resolution gate here, we will be able to see what will be our final image. So if we click on the gate mask next to it, it will just show a mask to highlight what we will see in the render. I will just go back in the resolution tab and choose 1080p to start with. Something that I will do from this will be just to select my object and click on F to frame it. So frame it means it will be in the center of my picture, and it will also mean that the aim of my camera will be directly on this object. So if I'm doing some rotation from now, the aim will always be my object, which is really cool. You really want to do that from the beginning when you are starting to set up your scene. So I will just adjust it this way, and when I'm satisfied with my camera, I have this small icon here, lock camera. So if I'm clicking on it from now, I will not be able to move anymore my camera. So you really want to do that from time to time. And also something that you can do instead of using this lock camera, you can go in the view palette. You have a bookmark palette. You go into the edit bookmarks, and then you will have this little window that will show up. If you want to, for example, save this angle, let's call it angle 01. Description, it will be my main cam. I will click on apply, then close it. And maybe I will go onto another angle and go closer to my object. I will go in the view, bookmark, edit bookmark, and I will add a new one. This one will be the angle 02, and it will be the close-up from my main camera. Apply. You can even add the angle to the shelf. So if I'm clicking on this button here, it will add a little icon to my shelf. So I will just have to click on this one, then select this one, add also. I think that every time when I will click on this little shelf, I will be able to switch from one view to another. So let's keep to the easy way. So the easiest way is really for me to create one camera per render that you want to do. So you will just select this camera, then you lock it. If you want to create another one, you just go into perspective, then you go into create, and you add a new camera. And every camera that you will add, you will just go in the panel, look for selected, select your sphere or your main object, click on F to frame it, and then you just adjust the position of your camera. So you will be able to have like a camera for the close-up and another camera for the wide range rendering. So just select my camera here, then I go in the attribute, camera shape, And on this one, because it will be the camera for the close-up, I will have a longer focal length. So let's name it close-up cam, and then I just need to lock it. And if I want to have a look at the resolution gate, I just click on this button here. So I will select also my camera, something that you may want to do as well, because sometime when you will be working in the real scale value, real world scale value, the camera will still be really small like this, but never scale a camera this way, because it will break some of the information in the resolution gate. So something that you can do that will be really easier and that will not destroy the information in the camera is to just select your object. So select the camera, then you go in the object display here, and you just raise up the locator scale, so we get something like this. So I will just do it at 2 for this scene, and I can do it for every different camera. So let's have a look quickly at some lighting information, just to see how the light will react. And this is where we'll be able to discover how to use the Arnold Live Preview, which is amazingly powerful. And I'm sure that if you're working in the collectible industry, you want to have something that is really easy to use. And this is exactly what the Arnold Rendering IPR, so Interactive Preview Rendering, or live rendering engine will do. So I will just go into my camera. I just select it, maybe this one or this one. Then I go in panel and look through selected. You can also go in panel, perspective, and in perspective you will have the list of all the camera available in the scene. So I will start to use the IPR. So before I do that, just to remind you which light I'm using. So this one, actually let's create a new one. So in order to create a light, you just have to select this kind of light. So we have different lighting into Maya. Just to remind you which one I'm using every time. So most of the time I'm just using and I'm only lighting with the area light, because we can do like a lot of different effects using only this area light. The mesh light will be if you have a mesh, so if you have something that has been modeled and you want it to emit some light. So you will be able to select your model and then create on select your model and then click on create mesh light, and it will create a light that will have the same shape as your model. We have this one here, photometric light, I'm not using it. Sky Dome, this one, I'm using it really often. But it will be if I have some HDR. So HDRI, if I want to light a scene with an image, a 360 degree image, I will be able to select this image and to put it in a Sky Dome, and the Sky Dome will take the information of this 350 image and it will light all the scene with all the information that you have in the picture. So if for example you already have like a sun in your 360 image, this sun will be your main light, and if you have an environment around it, so if you have some, let's say a blue sky, and if you have some green grass on the ground, then you will be able to have a lot of information coming from the indirect illumination, because you will have the blue light, you will have the blue sky that will bounce on the top of your model, so you will get some kind of blue color on top of your sphere or your object. And you will also have the grass that will send some green information. So you will get a lot of light coming from a Sky Dome if you have the pictures that are good for it. But when you are in a studio environment, you don't really want to use that. You want to light your scene manually. So we are done with the presentation of lighting, I think. A light portal, I'm not using it also for this, and physical sky. So physical sky is a way of simulating the sky during the day. So it just works like a sky dome, but a sky dome will work with a texture, and the physical sky will work with some parameter like the elevation of the sun, and the more elevation we will get, the more the bluish the sun will be. I mean the sky will be. The sun will always be white. And the less elevation, the reddish the sky will be, so it will be just like the end of a day. So let's start just by create an area light. Then I will select this area light. I will name it my key light, key LT for light, and we will just go in the panel, render cam, and just start to play with our light. So for this, I will go back into the perspective actually, select my light. Something that I can do, and this will be really helpful for us, will be to select the light, we go in the panel, and we can do also a look through selected. It is really cool to do that because we are able to see directly through our light, just as if it were a camera, and then we'll be able to show or to point the light where we want. So we can do the same as we did before. Select the object, for example, and click on F, and we will frame it so it will become the aim of our light. If we click on this button for the viewport, and I will go back into my perspective, it will show in the viewport the intensity of the light, but do not really focus on what is happening here, because it will not be matching to what we'll see in the rendering engine. So you can play with it, maybe just for placing the light, placing some base intensity of the lighting, but do not focus too much on what is happening in the viewport, because once we will start to render it, it will not look at all like that. So panel, I will go back into my render cam, then I will start the rendering engine, clicking on this button. It will open for me a new window, and I directly see what is happening. I see it because it's a live render engine. So if I'm moving something, so let's say that, for example, I will go in panel, go back into my perspective view, and maybe just change a bit the position of the light, and you can see that it's working directly in your scene. So go select my light, panels, look through selected, then I will adjust its position to make it more frontal. And then I will just play with the parameter to show you how it's working. So here we have a cyclo. We cannot see it because we don't have any light to light it up. But something that we will do actually will be to add a light. So I will just select my light, for example, Ctrl D to duplicate it. Then I will aim directly on the background to light a bit what is happening in my scene. So light it up a bit more, and I will go back into my perspective view just to be sure about how I'm positioning the different light in my scene. I want to have something that will probably match to what I could have in a real life environment. So I will put this light like this, a bit more like this, put it on the side, and adjust its direction like this. I will go back into my render, into my IPR, my rendering engine. Where is it? Okay. Click on the play button if it's not rendering for the moment. And then I will be able to select my light. So this one will be the key light, and this one will be the background light. Background light. So I will just select the background light and raise up its intensity. So how to play with the intensity between the exposure, because we'll see in the next video that we can also hide the exposure directly. So something that I like to do actually is to keep the exposure at 0 for the moment, and then I'm first starting to play with the intensity to get some kind of midpoint for the intensity. So if we get some kind of midpoint, we will be able to adjust it on the go later on. So this will be like our default value. And if we think that it's too much, we'll be able just to lower the exposure. But if we think that it is not enough, we'll just be able to raise up the exposure. So this is for how to play some basic environment lights in our scene, and then just to show you how the lights are working. So I will select my key light, and then I will play with the different parameters. So here, something that I may want to do from the beginning is to adjust first the intensity, something like 40. Then, just like I told you, we can play with the exposure. But let's keep it at 0 for the moment. So if we want to add a color, we will be able to play with the color. So just like I told you before, this is a way to apply like a filter to your light. So if you're looking for something that will be maybe greenish or that will be pinkish, you will be able to play directly with the light color. But if you want to have something that will be more photographic, we'll use the use color temperature, and then we'll adjust the color temperature to get the effect that we want. So I have to admit that most of the time I prefer to play directly with the color, because I think that it's easier and more obvious to see what you're doing. You just select like the filter, the kind of filter that you want to light your scene, and then you will have a selection of colors that will be way more obvious, I think. So I recommend you to keep it easy and to play directly with the color. Then the 3 other parameters that I wanted to show you for this video is the spreadness of the light. So spreadness means how the light will be dim inside of your 3D scene. So something that we want is maybe to adjust this one. So you see, the less spread we will be, the sharper we'll get, the sharper shadow we'll get on our object. And of course, because the light will not be dim again, so we will get way more intensity where the light will aim. So something that we will need to do will be to lower the exposure. So I will just put something like this. Also, if I'm showing you what is happening, so let's take back the camera, render camera. So we are in HyperR, which means that we can move directly, and we will see that the viewport, if we move in the viewport, the rendering engine will update what is happening. So we have key light with no spreadness, so we can see the shadow, the strong shadow happening on the cyclo. So maybe something that we want to do is to have just a little bit of spreadness, and also, so the other parameter is the roundness of the light. So the more roundness we'll get, the more of a round shape we'll get coming from the light. So it will be like a circle light instead of being a rectangle light. Soft edge is how the light will be spreaded on the edges. So you can play with these 3 parameters to adjust the appearance of your light directly in your scene. So I will get something that will be a little bit more spreaded. So something like this, and then I will get rid of this parameter. So another parameter that you have is a sample of light. So you can see here we have a bit of noise in the light sampling. So a few ways to adjust the sampling of the noise in your scene. So I will show it. I think that it will be better for you to understand from a 3D scene directly instead of just a scene with a sphere. But this is just for the fundamental, for the basic parameter, so you are able to understand what you will be playing with directly in your scene. But if you want to have less noise in your scene, something that you can do is to raise the sample value here, so it will get rid of the noise. And if we do that for one light, of course we need to do it for another light. But always keep in mind that the more sample you will get, the more noisy your render, the less noisy your render will be, but the more time it will take to calculate. So something that I like to do is just to keep the intensity at 1, or maybe raise it up a bit, just a bit. And then I will go in the render settings. In the Arnold renderer tab here, you have some anti-aliasing parameter. So the camera anti-aliasing will be an overall anti-aliasing, so an overall sample value. If I'm raising this one, you can see that all the other number will rise as well. So when you want to do like your final render, something that you can do instead of trying to adjust all the different anti-aliasing parameter, all the different sample parameter, is just to take the camera samples and raise it up. Or if you want to adjust this one of the AOV, and I will show you what the AOVs are in one of the next video. But if you want to adjust just one of the sample, for example, the diffuse, or some parameter with which I'm playing a lot, it's the SSS parameter, because the more SSS will get in a scene, subsurface scattering, so light traveling through the surface, the more wax effect we want, the more SSS sample we will need in our scene. So you can adjust them one by one, or you can just decide at the end of the render to raise up the camera anti-aliasing. And something that I'm not 100% sure about is that the SSS will be multiplied as well. So just to be sure also, you can raise the intensity, the value of the subsurface scattering sample. And you can already see that it's taking way more time to render, even if my scene is pretty simple, because I get way more samples in my scene, so I will get less noise, but it will take more time to render. So this is it for the basic parameter of rendering and lighting in a 3D environment in Maya. In the next video, I will show you how to light a scene with a statue or collectible, and it will be more obvious to understand how you will be able to play with the different parameter of the light and how you will be able to play with the samples in your scene. So see you in the next video.